President Trump put out a Truth Social today saying that everybody in the cabinet was happy with you. I just wondered if you had heard otherwise, and if you had heard anything about members of the cabinet who weren't happy with the way things were going, and if so, what are you doing to address those any dissatisfaction?
Elon, let the cabinet speak just for a second. Anybody unhappy with Elon? If you are, we'll throw him out of here. Is anybody unhappy? We have a lot of respect for Elon and that he's doing this, and some disagree a little bit, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think everyone's not only happy, they're thrilled.
President Trump and Elon Musk attend their first cabinet meeting. Democrats are all of a sudden talking about government cuts despite being quiet the last 4 years. Congressman Eric Swalwell has a terrible run-in with an independent journalist who questioned him about national security, and Trump's AG Pam Bondi confirms that the Epstein list is in fact on the way. Now, if you guys appreciate the daily news updates, please take a second and hit the like button for the video. It really does help out the channel, and thank you so much for subscribing as well. Now, we have a lot of bombshells in today's video, so let's go ahead and start with the hypocrisy within the Democratic Party. Here's James Carville clinging onto as little relevancy as he can. Watch.
What do you see in the status quo of Trump's first few weeks here that you believe has a promise of opportunity?
First, he started out with the lowest approval of any president ever started in the history of Poland. His numbers are going down. I just looked at the numbers. You put up 32% on inflation. Literally every Western democracy government has fell because of inflation. So I place a lot of stock on that. The trend is going the wrong way. And the other thing that I place a lot of stock in are these organic town halls. These are not being organized by Democratic interest groups. These are not being organized by the DNC. These are just people coming up and saying, we don't like this at all. And you're seeing it in as you point out, very, very smart in Georgia, in Wisconsin, in Oregon. I saw something even in Idaho. You know, when you're starting to lose Idaho, you got some problems. So I think we just have to play possum for a little while, just let them keep coming. And Musk will turn out, if they keep him, will be the greatest generator, let me be say this very specifically, the greatest generator of Democratic turnout ever, more than Barack Obama. Musk will turn out more Democrats than Obama could. And I understand the gravity of that statement, but if he keeps going, that's what's going to happen.
First of all, CNN, CBS News, and even MSNBC have all reported that Trump's first days in office were excellent. His poll numbers far exceeded that of his first term. So I'm not really sure what Carville's really trying to say here. And unlike the former President Joe Biden, who kept blaming Trump for inflation, the current administration actually has the right to do that. The economy isn't like the border that can be just solved in a few weeks. And then there's Doge and Elon Musk. These Democrats are saying that it's unpopular to expose wasteful spending within the federal government, and that Elon Musk is overstepping his boundaries. Although a recent poll from Harvard Capps Harris shows that a whopping 76% of Americans support these investigations into government expenditure. The same people also said that they're happy with President Trump's actions during his first days in office, citing that they're happy with the border, the reduction of costs within the government, and of course, returning America to its core values. Now, I believe that Carville is following the narrative from the Democratic Party, one that Representative Ro Khanna talked about recently on CNN. Watch.
And you know what? You want to go after waste and fraud. This is what's so frustrating. They're not going after any of the big ticket items, the subsidies to fossil fuel companies, the Pentagon budget with the 5 prime contractors.
Hegseth did say he wanted to cut that by 8%.
Said, and he said he wants to reinvest it in the other parts of the department so that the top line doesn't go down. It's all smoke and mirrors. They're not going after Medicare Advantage fraud. They're not going after prescription drugs that are costing the government money.
So Congressman, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
I hear everything you're saying. And some of it I actually agree with. How come Democrats haven't presented an alternative plan?
We have. Senator Warren has. I have.
And not you, and not Senator Warren, but the leadership of the Democratic Party. I haven't seen a plan from Hakeem Jeffries. I haven't seen a plan from Chuck Schumer. I have not seen a plan from the leadership of the party saying, look, we recognize that we have to have cuts. We recognize that government is bloated. Let us present the Democratic plan to work with the president, to work with Republicans, to do what's in the best interest of the American people.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you're one of the real ones who really enjoy what we do here on the channel, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. Credit to Sir Michael Singleton for asking a common sense question. Now, what I find strange here is that if they had all of these answers for years, why did they not do anything about it? Why didn't they make legislation that would take out wasteful spending before? Because it seems to me that what they're saying is that Elon Musk isn't doing a good job. But none of us heard anything about this outrage until President Trump came along. And you heard how Ro Khanna was questioned about it, right? If they had all these amazing ideas back then, why not put it into a vote? Why not talk to Democratic leadership? And here's the funny part, guys. Instead of putting forth these ideas, all they do is complain about Doge. They complain about Elon Musk, and they complain about President Donald Trump. So at the end of the day, they're acting as opposition to the party in power. Now, while I understand that Republicans do that as well, we're at a point where the government is really looking out for our best interests. It's time for Democrats to tone down the anger a little bit, just turn it down, and actually work with Republicans. They're not going to agree on everything, but it's at least a step in the right direction, right? Now, here's President Trump saying without a shadow of a doubt that our benefits won't be affected by these cuts. Watch.
The spending bill that passed last night aims to cut $2 trillion.
Right.
Can you guarantee that Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security will not be touched?
Yeah, I mean, I have said it so many times, you shouldn't be asking me that question. Okay? This will not be read my lips. It won't be read my lips anymore. We're not going to touch it. Now, we are going to look for fraud. I'm sure you're okay with that, like people that shouldn't be on, people that are illegal aliens and others, criminals in many cases. And that's with Social Security. We have a lot of people. You see that immediately when you see people that are 200 years old that are being sent checks for Social Security. Some of them are actually being sent checks. So we're tracing that down, and I have a feeling that Pam is going to do a very good job with that.
Well, there you have it, guys. The idea that these cuts will affect Americans negatively, it was created by the Democratic Party. We have the President of the United States ensuring us that this is all about checking for fraud. That's it. We're checking for fraud. Now, if they do cut benefits, then we can all go back to this and blame them for lying to the American people, right? But if that doesn't happen, then we should probably question why Democrats are crying about this bill in the first place. Now, moving on, guys, Representative Eric Swalwell had an awkward encounter with journalist Nick Sorter. He allegedly overheard Swalwell boasting about cheating on his wife and using his position of power for corruption. Listen to this very one-sided conversation as Swalwell was asked about his wife, who's considered to be a Chinese spy.
So, Congressman, you referred to Elon Musk as a fascist at some point and alluded to him being a national security threat. Do you see that more of a national security threat, you sleeping with a Chinese spy, than transparency in the federal government? What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that? What's Fang Fang think of that?
What are you doing?
What's fascistic about exposing government corruption? I mean, I know you're just at dinner now with a bunch of lobbyists. You know, they're buying you a bunch of booze, and you know that's awfully nice. I know you were talking about, maybe finding somebody else because you only like to people that are tens. I just heard that one too. So what do you think about that? Do you want to comment on any of it? Elon Musk is a national security threat, but you sleeping with a Chinese spy is not. Is that correct? You don't want to comment on that at all? Looks like guilty as charged.
Sorter also shared a photo of Swalwell during this dinner, so it's likely that everything he said was true. And it shows that the congressman didn't have any other option but to run away. Now, this is honestly good reporting since it shows just how hypocritical some of these Democrats can be. Crying to mainstream media about Elon Musk accessing personal data when we have a congressman married to a Chinese spy. And while that in and of itself is big news, Trump's Attorney General Pam Bondi has something that's much bigger. She's now confirmed that the the Epstein list is coming. Watch.
A lot of people are wondering, because you said last week that you have the Epstein files on your desk, is when can we see them and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims. 200. So we have well over 250 actually. So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released by my office.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah. What you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But it's pretty sick what that man did.
Okay. Well,
along
look
with
for
his
that.
co-defendant.
Absolutely. And he had help. That's for
He
sure.
sure did.
Now, I smell a lot of trouble brewing for these people who are on these flights. Now, it also doesn't help them that we got new blood within the FBI. Now, I covered this in a previous video where some Democrats are absolutely concerned about Dan Bongino. Now, you guys might know that he was appointed as FBI Deputy Director, which is, again, bad news for people who broke the law so long as they got Donald Trump in trouble. Anyway, make sure you guys watch that since I show you exactly who's melting down because of this decision, all right? As always, appreciate y'all hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.